Welcome back to After the Battle. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Levi, and joining me now is the Texecutioner, James Vick. James, welcome back to After the Battle, man.
What's up, man? Glad to be back. Always happy to come on the show.
Man, it's good to have you on. Let's talk about this finish you just had over Polo Reyes real quick, because, man, it was a very advanced combo you had on him. You know, you threw the body shot, you let him throw his overhand, then you did a 3-2. Now, after that 3-2, I'm kind of wondering here, man, did you kind of fake him out with the left where you cracked him with that cross? Like, it was kind of an offbeat, odd rhythm kind of thing.
Well, not really. Basically, I tried after I stepped off and threw that it was like almost like a hybrid of a hook and a jab that I always throw on I land, and I threw it and I was trying to land the first cross, and then the hook actually moved his head where I just didn't land the first one, so then I just doubled it up and landed it.
So, I mean, basically, when you're doing that combo, you knew for a fact that he was going to throw that overhand, right? And that's when you're supposed to, move your head off the center line? Is that something that you've been practicing? Was that just natural instinct or what?
That's something that it's funny. I've never really necessarily worked on that a lot, but I always land that in sparring. Like, I always land that in sparring. When I throw jabs, everyone tries to counter me with overhands. But, it's pretty common. I'm a tall guy, and everyone tries to counter me with overhands. So a lot of times I'll either feint the jab, or I'll go to the body with it, or even I'll just go to the head with it sometimes, and they'll still bite on that jab. They'll fall for that jab, and then they'll chunk their overhand. And I knew it was coming. That's pretty much all he was throwing was overhands and left hooks, just wild winging shots. And I knew when I got in there with him, I could feel immediately, like, honestly, his speed wasn't. I could feel the power on his punches that he was a heavy-handed guy, but he just didn't have, the greatest speed. I could tell he was kind of slow, and I knew that I was about to catch him with something flush. I could just feel it. I was about to hit him with something very flush. That's why I kind of set my feet down, and honestly, I don't have a lot of knockouts in my fights. It's really on my second knockout of my pro career. I mean, I had some of the amateurs and stuff like that, but it's because I don't set my feet. I move my feet, and I don't take a lot of shots. But with him, I knew, I decided to set down on some stuff because I knew I felt, my speed advantage was way above his.
And, I mean, another reason is you also rock people and then they end up shooting and you catch them with chokes. So you could attribute it to that as well. But let me ask you this, man. You found an opening for that body kick right away. Was that something you noticed in the tape, or was that just heat of the moment?
I study all my guys. I study all the guys I'm going to fight, and honest to God, I felt like he was just a target for me. I felt like I'd fought 20 guys just like him in amateur boxing. A flat-footed, power-punching Mexican boxer. I started off as a boxer in Texas. I fought 20 guys just like him, and I've always did very well with that style. And I knew that he was pretty much tailor-made for my style, and I feel like I could hit him with kicks, punches, anything that I really wanted to.
Man, and he's a guy that, obviously I know since you watched the tape, you saw his unbelievable war with Kim, and he's a dude that's been pretty durable, and man, you put him away right away. Was that surprising?
No, not really. I knew I was going to catch him with something flush and finish him, especially after that first 20 seconds when I felt him swinging. I could tell how slow he was compared to me, but I just didn't expect it to be the first real combo I threw. But, I mean, I like you said, I don't have a lot of knockouts. One thing, I kind of set my feet and I move a lot sometimes, and I don't, necessarily take unnecessary risk. But also, every time I hurt these guys, they start shooting in on me. And I pretty much, everybody I've ever touched with my right hand in sparring or in fights, I've hurt them.
Yeah, straight up. So, dude, it's funny because I heard you say that this is the lowest ranked opponent you've ever fought, and, that's true. But here's the thing, man. Do you feel like you kind of needed an opponent like that on the platform, the biggest card of the year, to, almost have a coming out party? Because, like, look, I've known what's up for a long time. John Anik's known what's up. You know what's up. But it seems like everyone else needed to know what's up.
I don't know. I thought I had a coming out party when I started Abel Trujillo, honestly. I mean, I was 2 fights from the main event. I hit the dude with a flying knee and then finished him. I thought that was my coming out party, or when I won 5 damn fights in a row before that. But it's just, I think what helped is me being vocal finally, me get on the mic and being vocal and being like, y'all need to promote me and stuff needs to get popping. And it's been, the results from that have been phenomenal for me.
Absolutely. And, it was very publicly noted that, you know, Dana White, he wanted to meet up with you in Vegas. Did that ever take place?
Yes, sir, it did, and a great conversation. And then I worked a new deal out with him and Sean Shelby, and I'm very happy right now.
I'm really happy to hear that, man. So, I mean, are we expecting, you know, an Evan Dunham, a Gil Melendez, a top 15 guy next?
I can't really. I've already talked to Sean recently, but I can't really give any details on a date or an opponent yet. But yeah, the opponent he's going to try to get to fight me is a top 15 guy. I mean, there's no guarantees that the guy's going to take the fight, but yeah, that's pretty much as much as I can tell at this point.
So it's in the works. That's all we got to know.
Yes, sir, 100%.
Man, that's good to hear. And I mean, when you're in a meeting with the bosses, I mean, could you feel like they appreciate the work you've been putting in, man?
Well, basically, it wasn't even a real meeting. You know, Dana was gone the whole weekend of the event. He was there for the first night, and then his son had a quarterback football camp in San Diego, so he flew out there. Then he came back on Sunday night for the Snoop Dogg concert, and then he was there, and he introduced Snoop Dogg, and he went in the back and was like in a suite, you know, by himself with a couple other people. And I was texting him, and I was like, hey, you know, can I come back? And he's like, yeah, come back here. I'll have security come get you. Come to this side. So I went back there, and he was just, you know, he was real quick about it. Just like, you know, I don't want you, you know, take up too much of your time. And then he's like, so what's up? I was just like, I want a new deal. And he's like, okay, I understand. And, you know, I pitched my case, and he seemed happy about everything I've been doing. And, you know, he told me he'll work something out. And then he had Sean text me, and then I talked to Sean Shelby on the phone for a little bit, and we came to a good deal, and I'm happy.
And
they're happy as well.
I'm really happy to hear that, man. Now, obviously, you know, you were at the athlete retreat. Now, for a lot of guys, they look at it as, oh, I get to get wasted on the UFC's dime for a weekend. But I know for you, you probably learned a lot, man, having guys like Kobe Bryant there. Tell me what you learned about the athlete retreat, man.
Well, you know what I learned more than anything from listening to Kobe Bryant and Michael Strahan and them talk about some of the principles that they've followed. I learned that I'm on the right path, and I'm doing everything that I need to do the right way. It's crazy because I feel like my mind is so strong because of all the self-help and personal development that I've studied over the years. And I mean, I've literally in the last 5 years read 25 books on personal development, self-help, watched countless seminars, like hundreds of hours of this stuff, right, on YouTube and different, you know, audio DVDs, CDs and stuff I have. And it's just everything they were saying was literally everything that I believe and everything that I've lived by over the last few years since I've really been educating myself in this stuff. And it really made me feel good to know that I'm on the right path and I'm doing everything right. And I was happy about that for sure.
That's good to hear. Now, I know you saw Max Holloway dethrone the great Jose Aldo. What'd you think about that?
It was, you know, I feel like it's, when someone wants something bad enough, it's hard to deny that person. I feel like it was, you know, kind of like Michael Bisping becoming a world champion. You know, I feel like it was Max Holloway's destiny to become a world champion. And I feel like nothing, no matter what happened that night, he was going to find a way to win. And that's, you know, he came out and he was very impressive. A little bit of a slow start, I guess, because, you know, Aldo is, you know, one of the best ever. So he had a little slow start in the first round, but it made it work.
Was that an inspiring performance for you at all? Because, you know, you kind of have a similar style as Max Holloway for the 155-pound division.
Yeah, it's just inspiring in general to see someone, you know, who's so gritty and tough and works so hard as they do and really believes in themselves. And, you know, I'm a real big believer in, you know, destiny and self-belief and speaking things into existence. And I feel like my destiny is to be a world champion. I feel like he thinks that way too. And I feel like, you know, his results showed it, you know, that he wanted that. Honestly, he just wanted it more, and he was going to find it. He would not be denied. It didn't matter if he had to go to his home country or not. He was going to find a way to win, and it's hard to beat the will of a person who just refuses to give up like that.
Very, very true, man. So I hear next up that he might be fighting Frankie Edgar. I think that's a great one. I know who I got. I got the champ, but what do you think about that matchup?
Yeah, you know, it's funny as I was saying, I was saying before the fight, I was like, I know Frank Yeager is really hoping Holloway wins because stylistically he's never going to beat Jose Aldo, I don't think. Just from a stylistic matchup, that's just a bad matchup. But that being said, I think Frank Yeager always has a chance, and he's no joke. He's a legit, true warrior and champion. But I just think Max is the one, man. I think Max is right now, his mind is so focused. He's so strong. He's even more confident now coming up that win. I think he wins that fight for sure.
Dude, I haven't gotten a chance to talk to you about your training in Thailand, but clearly, I mean, based on the last 2 fights, it's been paying dividends. What's your assessment of it?
It's good. Thailand's always good. The 2 times I've been, one time I was there for about 2.5 weeks, and the other time I was there for three and a half weeks. And it was phenomenal training, great training. The climate, I feel like my body just feels better over there because, you can get a massage every day. It's really, it's so cheap and affordable. And then the climate, I had a real bad, I think I mentioned this before, but I had a real bad hamstring injury for like a year where I couldn't kick without a compression sleeve. And I went over there, and after a week, I haven't used it ever since. And it really, just that cold climate and everything, and the training and the atmosphere, and I loved it over there for sure. Technical, you get to work. What's funny is the way I'm winning my fights, really isn't through a lot of the stuff that I've learned over there, to be honest with you, because, I've worked a lot of knee. Well, I mean, I have landed knees, but I've always been able to land knees. But knees and elbows and sweeps and stuff like that. I try to really work stuff that I don't get to work here. Like, there's not a lot of people here that can teach you a lot of clinch work and, elbow combinations and at a high level like you're going to learn in Thailand. So that's a lot of stuff I've learned, which, I've never had to use or never got to use at this point. So I just have a lot of stuff in my toolkit that I've never had to expose, and I guess people don't know I have it, but they'll be shocked to find out one day.
I would assume that you're going to keep doing half your camps there?
Well, I didn't really do half my camps there. This last time I was there for a little bit. I guess it was kind of considered half the camp, but I'm probably not going to go back until the winter time. I really hate training in the cold. I've had so many injuries, and I've had 4 major surgeries, and I don't like training in the cold. My body just don't feel as good. So if any time, in the winter time, that's probably when I'll go back for probably 3 or 4 weeks. But it's all, it just depends on the timing, honestly, of my camp and my fights.
So, dude, you posted a couple things on your Instagram, of you, doing the snake taming or whatever it's called, and that to me seems more dangerous than taking a punch from Abel Trujillo.
You know what, though? I guess it's better for social media and everything, but it really is not that dangerous. I mean, I guess I just put it as training but it's really not. Like, anybody can go up there and pay to see the snake show, and then you just have to be brave enough to get in there with them. But the snakes I was playing with weren't real cobras. They were snakes, and they were big, decent size, but they weren't like vicious, poisonous cobras. So, and only the guy the real guy that's the snake charmer or whatever they call him there, he's the one that plays with the real cobras. And yeah, sometimes they do get bit and, have to go to the hospital and stuff. But the snakes I was playing with, I'm not even sure if they're poisonous or not. I mean, I know they'll bite you, but I'm not sure if they're poisonous or not.
No, it's crazy, though, because it must work on your reaction time, but it's dangerous. It's serious. It's not a joke.
Yeah, no, for the guy that does it, he's crazy with it. Like, I've never seen nothing like it in my life, the way that guy moved his head, and like, he would put his head right there in front of him, and he would even kiss the snakes on the mouth and stuff. Like, he's like crazy with it. But yeah, it was fun to sit there and try to move your hand in time, and obviously I didn't get too close because I wasn't that dumb, but it was definitely fun.
All right, well, James, obviously I can't let you go without a couple fight predictions. So Robert Whittaker's taking on Yoel Romero. I mean, I think that's the best matchup of the year. You could consider both of them to be the number 1 guy at middleweight. Who do you give the edge to, man?
It's hard. I know you're a huge Whittaker guy, and I like Whittaker too. I'm cool with him. I've hung out with him a few times. Super cool, good guy. But it's hard to bet against Yoel, man. Yoel's a monster. It's hard to bet. I mean, it's hard to bet against. I mean, I would probably give Yoel a chance to beat Cormier as well. I mean, it's hard to bet against Yoel.
Man, Yoel has that affinity for finishing fights in the third round. I don't know what it is, man, but he's unreal. But you saw that performance Whittaker put on Jacare. No one's ever done Jacare like that.
For sure. Whittaker's impressive, and he's another one similar to Holloway, and myself, who really, honest to God, in his heart, believes in himself, and it's paying off for him. And obviously hard work too, but tons of guys work hard, but they're not mentally right. There's tons of guys out here that train hard, but they ain't got it in the mind. And I believe Whittaker definitely is one of those guys that does have it. So of course he's going to be hard to beat. But if I had to bet my money, I would go with Yoel.
And John Jones and DC are rematching. Now, James, is this simply a case where Jones has DC's number, or do you think DC can make the proper adjustments to hand John Jones his first ever legitimate defeat?
I'm a John Jones, diehard fan. In my mind, like, John Jones is the greatest fighter of all time. Obviously Anderson Silva is my hero, but I just don't think I think John. No disrespect to DC, but I think John Jones could set out for 2 years and he would still come back and find a way to win that fight. I just think stylistically, John Jones is a nightmare for him and for really anybody, but definitely for him, I think John Jones, wins that fight 100%.
Well, James, let the fans know what they can expect from you next, man, because, obviously we want to see big things. I'm sure big things are coming. Let them know what's up.
Just I guess please follow me on my social medias. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all the same, James Vick MMA. And, I'll be posting a bunch of stuff. And I'm supposed to be going to the fights June 25th in Oklahoma City. So UFC's bringing me out there to watch those fights. And then also I'm going to be doing the Fan Expo as well. So the International Fight Week and all that. So I'll be out there in Vegas for the 3 or 4 days there as well. And then I'm looking to fight potentially sometime in August. So I guess just stay tuned, everyone. And I appreciate the support.
James Vick, thanks for the time on Half the Battle as always, brother. And best of luck in the next step, my man.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, man.